The Taliban has declared the war in Afghanistan over after its fighters swept into the capital, Kabul, and President Ashraf Ghani fled the country. Victorious Taliban fighters patrolled the streets of Kabul on Monday as thousands of Afghans mobbed the city's airport trying to flee the group's feared hardline brand of rule. Meanwhile, many nations were scrambling to evacuate their diplomats, citizens and some local Afghan staff. Al Jazeera's Charlotte Bellis, reporting from Kabul, says the airport has been the real crisis point of the roll-in of the Taliban. Outside of that, it has been relatively smooth. Security forces have for the most part laid down their weapons, she says. Mohammad Naeem, a spokesman for Taliban's political office, tells Al Jazeera the group does not want to live in isolation and says the type and form of the new government in Afghanistan will be made clear soon. He also calls for peaceful international relations. The United Nations Security Council will discuss the situation in Afghanistan later on Monday. Here are all the latest updates. Military flights taking part in the evacuation from Kabul airport are set to begin again shortly after a short pause, a U.S. official has told Reuters news agency. Senior U.S. military officials say the chaos at the Kabul airport this morning has left 7 people dead, including some who fell from a departing American military transport jet. The officials spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to publicly discuss ongoing operations. On Sunday night, more than 60 nations released a joint statement saying that those in power and authority across the country bear responsibility and accountability for the protection of human life and property and for the immediate restoration of security and civil order. The statement concludes, the Afghan people deserve to live in safety, security, and dignity. We in the international community stand ready to assist them. United Nations Chief Antonio Guterres has called on the world to work together to suppress the global terrorist threat in Afghanistan. The international community must unite to make sure that Afghanistan is never again used as a platform or safe haven for terrorist organizations, Guterres told an emergency UN Security Council meeting on Afghanistan. Ghulam Isaczai, the outgoing Afghan government's ambassador to the UN, has said that they are extremely concerned about the Taliban not honoring promises and commitments made in their statements at Doha and other international forums. Kabul residents are reporting that the Taliban have already started house-to-house searches in some neighborhoods, registering names and looking for people on their target list, Isaczai said at the UN Security Council meeting. There are already reports of targeted killings and looting in the city. Kabul residents are living in absolute fear right now. Ghulam Isaczai, the Afghan ambassador to the UN, has called on the UN Security Council to use every means at its disposal to call for an immediate cessation of violence and respect for human rights and international humanitarian law.